Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Make sure you're smashing the like button, subscribing, and leaving your comments below. The top four race is heating up nicely. The title race is absolutely on fire. Chelsea find themselves in an unprecedented situation. So there's lots to discuss and talk about today. I'm joined by the brilliant Colleen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very well. I'm very, very well. I'm excited to preview the weekend with you with all the different things that are coming up.
A lot going on this weekend.
It is. It's been a mad week as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone kind of thought something might happen with Chelsea in terms of Abramovich, but I think it actually happening is a different story. I think we're taking it day by day, I guess, with that story.
Yeah, I mean, sponsorships, the sale can't go ahead unless Roman relinquishes power. And a lot of pressure on them as well because they're not clear in the top four race. Spurs and Man United, we'll get onto a little bit later, have had their issues, but they're not clear in terms of definitely being in with it. And if they get distracted by all this news, if something happens and they're not able to come together, if their mind's elsewhere, they don't want to get dragged into it. And they've got Newcastle this weekend, who have been playing so much better under Eddie Howe. It's a tough game for them.
Well, do you know, it's almost a contrast to fortunes in a way. Newcastle have just got this big backing with new owners, and Chelsea's almost saviour of the past, 10, 15 years, has come in and like revolutionised the club. And now they're in a bit of a weird place, and it's going to affect the players. They've got about 4 players who are out of contracts come the summertime. Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, we don't know what's going to happen with him. So it's going to, and they're leaders within the squad. Azpilicueta, especially the captain, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure for them to feel like they've got this under control, because there's been whispers of Arsenal even catching Chelsea at third. They don't want to let this crumble, let this affect them. But how can it not? How can it not? Like, players are going to be wondering, do I want to be staying at this club at the summer?
What happens to me next year? And look, I think there was a few rumours on the day of the sanction of Roman that Tuchel may leave, that Man United were interested, and very quickly, via some very credible journalists at the Telegraph, that was shut down. Tuchel is going to stay irrespective. But it's just that unknown right now. Who's going to own them? Can they renew contracts? Can they even sell season tickets? I mean, not having fans at certain games this season is going to be difficult for them. And look, I think it will create a siege mentality. I think the fans that are there will make more noise than ever before.
Absolutely.
But when I look ahead at this game, I really see Chelsea dropping a few points. I see Chelsea dropping a few points to Newcastle, just with all the pressures. Newcastle, of course, they're almost safe, but they just need 1 or 2 more wins. And this could be a game where nicking a point against Chelsea, maybe even doing the unthinkable and getting a win. Some really good players signed in January. I wouldn't write that off from happening.
No, I don't think it's impossible. Even prior to that, it was never impossible. You know, Newcastle have come leaps and bounds underneath Eddie Howe. But I think we'll see what they're actually made of mentally, the squad. They're European champions. They're World Club champions. They're champions of the world, essentially. You know, that doesn't come with not having a mentality. They're in a novel place that I don't think any club has been in, really, in terms of how public it is. This is worldwide news. And I think it'll just be interesting to see if the players can have that mentality. Are they here just pick up a paycheck? Or are they actually here because they want to win things with Chelsea? And this is a hard moment. I mean, someone could, you know, if Roman ends up just, you know, giving into UK government demands, just sells the club, doesn't get anything from it, another billionaire might see this as a bargain. And then, you know, things might go on as normal. But it could also go the other way. You know, he might not, but we don't really know. And I don't know. I don't pretend to know that much around the sanctionings of.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
And it's such a hard thing. Even experts don't quite know, because this is fairly unprecedented. And this could be better for Chelsea in the long term. They could get a great owner come in who builds even more stability. It could go the complete opposite way. I think this is about being open-minded. In terms of this weekend, I'm going to go have a 2-2 draw. I'm going to go over 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge. Newcastle to get a point. What's your prediction, Cole?
God, as much as I don't, you know, I think it will be a draw as well. I think Newcastle will do well to score. I think Trippier's still out. He's been like a key figure for them. But yeah, I think it's going to be a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. I don't think, if the mentality is a bit shaky, I can't see them if they go a goal down or even 2 goals down, I don't see them having with everything going on, the mentality to come back to make it 2-2. So I'm going for, I think it'll be like 1-1. If they win, then they've shut all of us up, and United, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Liverpool fans up around, the fall of Chelsea, because they're still going on. So we'll have to see what happens there.
Absolutely. On Liverpool, they go away to Brighton. Brighton caused one of the biggest shocks of the season by coming from 2-0 down at Anfield. They play a very exciting brand of football, but somewhat open brand of football at times as well. Liverpool have to match or better every result of Man City to stay in this title race. They play first, which you could argue is an advantage, but only if they get the 3 points, because it puts the pressure on Man City, who are away at Palace on Monday. How do you see this game going? 12:30 kickoff Saturday.
I mean, maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but since the turn of the year, I've not been that impressed with Liverpool. Don't get me wrong, they're a phenomenal side, but there's been a lot of 1-0s. West Ham, if they had their shooting boots on, they could have won or even drew the game. Even against Inter Milan, it's not like they were horrible, but if Inter Milan didn't make any stupid mistakes, it could have gone a different way. And with a team like Brighton, you never really know what you're going to get. You always know it's going to be a tough fixture. A draw is always on the cards. Liverpool kind of have to win, and no one particularly really likes those early kickoffs. The first game of the weekend, it's a lot of pressure. But I think if Klopp has showed anything, is that Liverpool are mentality monsters. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw, just because of how resolute and Brighton are. Just under Potter, they're a team that no one really wants to play. No one goes, I want to go and play Brighton. They're a team that they should beat, but if they got a draw to them, you wouldn't be completely unsurprised. So
I agree with that element there. You don't want to go away to Brighton. It's interesting to know how I view Liverpool's run of form very differently. I agree that they haven't been scintillating start to finish in every game. I believe that lady luck that's on their side, which I think they generate a lot for themselves, is what's going to make them win the league. And I really
think they're going to still win the league.
Yeah, I really believe that Liverpool Football Club are going to win the league. I believe they're going to. I think by the time they play City at the Etihad, they'll be level on points with City.
Really?
And then they'll beat them. And I just feel like they've got the bit between their teeth. They've got one of the best defenses in the country. And yes, they play a high line. It's high risk, high reward. You can get in behind it if you've got pacey players. And Brighton have a little bit of that. But I just feel like when Liverpool really want to turn it up, if Liverpool really want to have a go, that they'll get it done. Mo Salah's been a little quiet recently. I think that should be something that Brighton fear, because at some point he's going to click back into life. And I believe it might be this weekend when he does it. For me personally, I just look at Liverpool now, and I look at them as the best team in England on recency and form. Of course, City are top of the league. But there's just something about Liverpool that as a United fan, I hate seeing. I hate seeing it, but they look so potent to me right now.
My stomach churn. Praising Liverpool.
I know it does to me as well. I feel like I don't even know what the expression for it is. It's like drinking non-alcoholic beer. Like it's tastes the same, but it just ain't right. It just isn't right.
Do you know what? I think I hold Liverpool to a different standard. That's why I'm being a bit harsh on them, just because of the past few years. They've been amazing. And I think they've kind of dropped slightly from that level. So I think that's probably why I'm being a bit harsh on them. I still think City are going to win the league. I don't see it being them. If it's Liverpool, I'll be very upset.
I hear you.
I don't see it being them.
I hear you. My prediction, though, I'm going to go for quite a big win. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win for Liverpool. Mo Salah brace, backfiring, best player in the world.
I think Liverpool will win as well. I'm going to be a bit more conservative though, like 2-1. I can see Brighton getting a goal. I know everyone talks about, like you mentioned, the high line that Liverpool play, high risk, high reward. But I think on Liverpool's defense, they've been doing this for how long, and it's not like it's stopped them winning anything.
Yeah.
So they are the prime example of how to do it right. But I can see, the crowd, got Liverpool coming over into town. They know what Brighton are capable of. The crowd get behind Brighton, and Potter's no mug. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he would want that kind of result. And if they can keep their heads, before they get like they did with United, getting a red card, and they were quite matching United there. So I know United and Liverpool are two different kettle of fish.
No, they are. You are right.
Anyway.
I feel with Brighton, if they just had finishers, there'd be a complete. If you threw 2 or 3, If they had like Broya, who's been brilliant at Southampton this year, if they had a stone cold finisher in their team, I believe that they would be having an even better season. So yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Viewers, what are your score predictions for that game? We want to hear from you now. Arsenal. You guys are annoying me, but I mean this again as a rival of Arsenal's. It's annoying to see how good you now are. I think anyone denying the progression this season, especially under Mikel Arteta, I think they're deluding themselves. I think they're lying to themselves. I don't think they're being fair to what he's done. You've got one of the best. I think you have the second best home record in the league. I haven't checked that for like a good 2 weeks.
Someone's going to come in the comments.
Someone's going to be like, no, it's actually the third best, Terry. How do you not know this? I'm not an anorak. I believe it's one of the best. Leicester.
They're a banana skin team, Leicester.
They've got the biggest bottle job manager in the world outside of Poch. Brendan Rodgers, yellow belly. I'm surprised he's got a deeper voice. His balls ain't dropped. There's nothing there.
It is a little bit. You probably would have thought they would have kicked on a bit more from when they won the FA Cup. And ever since they won the league, they've always been a bit of a bogey team. You wouldn't be surprised they get in the top 6 or even top 5. But you also are not too surprised if they lose against one of the top 6 teams. I think that it's a bit of a mystery what's going on. But I think you probably do have to say Rodgers plays a big part in that.
I don't think you can deny that Brendan Rodgers, I've always said this about him from even his Liverpool. I remember doing one of my first non-Man United related bits of content when he was a Liverpool manager. And I said it then and I stand by it. It was in the build-up to the season where they just missed out on the league and they were getting ready to go in the Champions League. And I said, I think he is a world-class coach. He can make his teams play wonderful football. I think he's a bang average manager. So when it comes to the tough moments and the difficult moments, and I'm talking at the elite end of the spectrum here, when it really matters, those extra inches needed to get over the line.
That's why I think that's why he's a Leicester coach.
Yes.
Not trying to be too disrespectful to Leicester, but, they obviously have European ambitions, but I don't think the ownership are going to be too unhappy if they don't make top 6. And I think that's his comfort zone. If they do make it, it's great. If they don't quite make top 6,
I agree. And all that being said, it's why, like Arsenal this weekend, I just checked as well, by the way, the third best league form in the league. Liverpool the best with 36 points. Man City on 34. Man City 34. And Arsenal's is not disingenuous. They played one game less and they're on 29 points. If they win that extra game, they'd be on around 32 points. To put that into perspective, Spurs are on 25, West Ham 24, Man United 24. Chelsea's home record this season, just 23 points at home. But they played 2 games less than everyone because of this weird season, because of the games that were called off. But I can't look beyond Arsenal for this game. The attack is coming together nicely, and Lacazette, I think, is knitting it together brilliantly with the super talented Saka and Odegaard and Martinelli around him. I know Martinelli is missing for this. I think he's missing for this game. I might be wrong. Why do I think he's suspended? Again, I could be completely wrong about that.
I think he's suspended.
Is he suspended?
I don't know. I don't think he is.
Again, I'm going to have to go and check now. Do you know what it was? I was building a fantasy team earlier today, and I'm pretty sure when I put Martinelli's name in it. No, I'm actually a liar because Martinelli is in my fantasy team. So again, I have no idea what I'm talking about with him. So he's in. There is someone suspended, and I now need to go and check because it's going to bother me if I don't. But yeah, I can't look beyond yourselves. You guys are just, for me, you're far too good for them, in my opinion. I haven't got the previews ready yet. They normally have a preview thing ready. But yeah, I think you guys are just too good for them. I think you're going to blow them away. I really do.
I don't want to get too carried away. We've been on a great vein of form, but I keep saying, we wouldn't be in this position where we're kind of fighting for top 4 if we wasn't inconsistent. That is the story of our season. Same as United, same as Tottenham. We've been consistently inconsistent. So it wouldn't surprise me if Leicester was the banana skin, if I'm honest with you. We should beat them, but I don't think it's realistic for us to go for the rest of the season and not drop some points. No,
I get that. And I think you can always have these moments. As long as you don't do nothing crazy like concede early and get someone sent off.
Arsenal have it in them, though.
You do have that in you. And I just checked here, by the way. Yeah, Martinelli's in my fantasy team for the weekend. So I don't know why I thought he was suspended. But anyway, I think with the talent in that team, defensively looking strong. The only thing you've got to guard against Arsenal, which I've seen in the last few games, is there's been moments in the matches where you've become a little bit complacent, like a little bit too cocksure of yourselves, like, oh, we've done this, the game's over.
Watford game.
And Watford game's a prime example. But I feel like if you keep your heads, work hard for that 90 minutes, I'm going with another comprehensive win. I'm going to go with a 3-0 victory over Leicester.
Do you know, I'm cautious. I do think we will win. Do you know what? I think 3-0 is quite a good possibility to happen, actually. I'd probably go more 2-0. We're at home. I'm pretty sure we're at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just, Tielemans isn't playing great. Maddison has been in and out of form. I feel like,
Vardy's out injured now as well for like a month.
You kind of struggle to see where the inspiration is going to come from. But I'm always just I don't think Arsenal have necessarily turned that corner and where they won't just give the opposition an opportunity. So, but I do think we'll win 2-0. But as a cautious one, it's cautious.
I can feel that. You don't want to get too cocksure yourself. And I get that.
Ago, but now it's getting.
But
closer.
this is what you say is really interesting. This is when it starts to really matter because you're in the ascendancy and you have the advantage. You win those games in hand, or you get a good amount of points in them games in hand, and you've got a considerable 4 or 5 plus point lead over United.
Yeah.
United are really struggling. It's Arsenal's to throw away now, and that changes the mindset of everybody. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Viewers, I want to know what you think and feel about that. What do you think is going to happen? Now, the big game Saturday, Man United versus Tottenham. What are you saying?
Well, I want to draw, obviously, but I think we can also kind of see how it will go. Tottenham will sit back and probably play on the break. You need a response, United, after no fight in the Manchester derby. It was pathetic, And a similar story happened at the early stage of this season. You got embarrassed a bit by Liverpool, went over to Tottenham, beat them. They got El Sakiko, as they call it.
Yeah. And
then they end up getting Conte. I think it would be very United of you to put in a great performance against Tottenham. I'm not just saying that.
No,
I think it's quite a very United.
I hear that. We need it. You're right. Man United need a response.
Their fans will be demanding a response, if I'm honest with you.
Of course. And I think that I feel like the top 4 race is over for us now because I don't think we're going to build consistency. But if it's going to be alive, we need a minimum 4 points from our next 2 games. We need to beat Spurs. And I know this isn't, I think it's going to happen, but we need to get something out of the Liverpool game because most people, when you look at those 3 sets of fixtures, would have said maximum 3 points. So if you can walk away with anything more than 3 points, you find yourself in a position where you're kind of ahead of where yourselves and everybody else expect you to be.
Yeah.
So this is beyond must win because Arsenal have 3 very difficult games in hand. They play Liverpool, which is just over a week away, or just a week away today. They've got to go away to Chelsea. We don't know how Chelsea are going to be, and they play Tottenham in White Hart Lane or whatever their state. I don't think the stadium's got a name yet, but you know what I mean. We'll call it White Hart Lane for now. Do you know what I mean? So
3 Point Lane, you mean?
Yeah, 3 Point Lane. 3 Point Lane. Most of us get 3 points there. So it's United have to win because they have to give themselves an opportunity if Arsenal don't capitalize with their games in hand. And
I mean, they've got to show some fight.
They have to.
Anything. Give sort of something, anything really. I think, on the outside looking in, how the season's gone is obviously less than desirable, not good enough, and how the previous game went. You've got I think anyone's just looking for anything. Just give them some sort of hope, or that they might be turning a corner in preparation for the summer.
I think what Ralph needs to do is not pick Ronaldo, irrespective of his fitness. He feels like he's been a bit insubordinate this week. He's had meetings talking about, I don't want to be here. And I kind of get it. I get that he's turned up to a club that used to be elite and it's run like awfully. And I don't think he wants to be associated with it. And I respect that from a professional standpoint, but you act professional within that and he's not. I did feel in the opening 25 minutes or so against City, the false 9 was working quite well for us. We then just got blown away by a team that's levels and levels and levels above us. That isn't Tottenham. And that's with respect. And Tottenham can beat us. There's no doubt about it. But I think we've got to start with Bruno in that false 9 position. You've got Elanga and you've got Sancho, the only 2 wide guys we can start with because Rashford and Rashford just looks disheveled and Lingard has checked out.
Yeah.
If we keep that, we start with a similar team to what started the game against Man City and start with that kind of impetus and that aggression and as you said, a bit of fight. We have the ability to beat them. We're at home as well, which will help with the fans behind us, but it's must win. Because it's must win, I am predicting a 2-2 draw. Because the one thing I'd say about Man United is that this is when we don't turn up. This is the worst bit. And a United fan said this a few weeks ago and got stick for it. It wouldn't shock me to lose this game and then get something at Anfield. We're a weird team like that.
Yeah,
when we have to win or we're expected to win, generally is when it goes wrong, generally speaking. But yeah, I'm going to go have a 2-2 draw for this game.
I mean, I would like a draw, but I think United need to have a response. I can see them winning around 2-1. But just to touch on your Ronaldo point, I might get a brick thrown at my head for this, but do you not find it a little bit interesting that it appears to be before I feel like I really will get run over, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seemed to have got a little bit more out of Ronaldo than Ranić's been able to get out of him.
I don't disagree. I think this is what happens though. Like, systems suit certain players more. If they say about in fighting, they say like styles make fights. You might have a guy that's a superior fighter, but his style just doesn't. There's a particular style that always can beat them. We saw this with Ole. Ole's style of football got so many good results against Pep, who's regarded as having one of the best styles of football in the world, superior to Ole's. But the way Ole played, he was able to get something out of the game. Ronaldo was doing better under Ole. I think
Ralph not at least try, if he's going to play Ronaldo, try and play to his strengths, essentially. So instead, you're not playing with 10 men.
I agree. The problem that you have with most managers in the modern day era, and even though Ralph's a lot older, I think he's part of this generation that created it. Managers typically now play one style of football, and they're fairly stubborn, but they play one way. The era of the Fergie-esque managers who will chop and change depending on what play. And this is the interesting thing. We've been speaking about this recently, where Chelsea get 2 fullbacks out, and that's a good enough reason and circumstance to accept losing. It's okay, guys, we've got 2 players out. The Fergie era, and I use Fergie as the example because he was the best at it. It was okay, well, I've lost these 2 players that are important. I'll change my formation or the way we play so that the group that are now playing, we get the best out of them. Where I feel like managers nowadays, they don't know how to do it. They don't, unless you've got a squad that's stacked where you can play the same style irrespective of who's coming in. It's you miss 2 or 3 important players and the system falls apart because everything is based on systems and it's all very intricate and detailed and it needs every single little part to be perfect for it to actually work. And I think Ralph he's nowhere near a Tuchel or a Klopp or a Pep level of coach and manager. And I think he's struggling. He goes, this is how I coach and this is how I play football. And he doesn't know how to get the best out of him, or it's not what he does. It isn't his way. And I think that's what the problem here is. You're talking about a squad that wasn't built for Ralph, where we're waiting for another manager to come in the summer anyway. It's like limbo time at United. And it's awful to see.
You can't really afford for it to be like that.
No, we can't.
It's a needs must situation. If you've got to abandon your ideals for a couple of games to catch up to Arsenal, get back into the top 4.
I agree, but that's why I would go with the false 9 because I think we'll do. I think we'll do better. I think we'll do better without Ronaldo in the team because we have to press from the front, and I think it worked well at parts. And the City won't give us the problems that Tottenham did.
I think if they play how they played the first 25 against City,
got a chance.
100%.
There we go. Viewers, make sure you're leaving us your comments below. You're letting us know what you think. Give us your predictions for this weekend as well. Make sure the like button has been smashed. Colleen, absolute pleasure as always.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Thank you.